Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 6th August 2021. In this lecture, we are going to see 9 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first topic. So in yesterday's lecture, many students asked me to explain this MPLADS scheme. So in this lecture, we are going to start with that MPLADS scheme. So what is this MPLADS actually? So this MPLADS stands for Members of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. So this MPLADS stands for Members of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme. So why it is in news? Because 50% of funds which are allocated for ongoing MPLADS projects have been lapsed. So because of this scheme is in news. And now let us try to focus on some important facts regarding this scheme. So this MPLADS scheme is a program first launched during Narasimha Rao government. Okay, during Narasimha Rao's government, this scheme was launched in year 1993. An important aim of this scheme, it is to provide funds for developmental works which are recommended by individual MPs. So who are the member of parliaments all there? Whenever they are recommending any developmental works, so for this developmental works, funds will be allocated. And if you're talking about funds under this scheme, so at that time then MPs were entitled to recommend works to tune of rupees 1 crore annually. So it started between from 1994 to 1995 and till 1997-1998. Okay. So till this time frame they got only 1 crore rupees per year, and later on annual entitlement was enhanced to rupees 2 crores, and from 2011 to 2012 UPA government raised annual entitlement under this scheme to rupees 5 crore per MP per year. And next one is implementation. So if you're talking about implementation of this scheme, so MP have to recommend them plans to district authority of respective nodal districts. So here MPs, they will recommend works to district authority, and district authorities, they will identify implementing agency to execute these plans, and respective district authority is supposed to oversee implementation, and here that district authority need to submit monthly reports, audit reports and work completion reports to nodal district authority. And if you are focusing on facts regarding this scheme, so this scheme formulated in year 1993, and this scheme formulated to enable MPs, Member of Parliament, to recommend developmental works in their constituencies. And here in this developmental works, they will make some emphasis on creation of durable asset or durable community assets. They include providing of drinking water. They will focus on primary education, public health, sanitation, roads, etc. Initially, this scheme was under control of Rural Development and Planning, that is Ministry of Rural Development and Planning. So it also transferred. So later on it transferred to Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, in short MOSPI. So if you're talking about guidelines of this scheme, so in 2016 June, government came up with this MPLADS guidelines. So this MPLADS funds can be implemented mainly used for implementation of Swachh Bharat Mission, Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, Accessible India campaign, water conservation using rainwater harvesting systems, etc. And here this MPLADS funds could be converged with MG Narega and as well as Khelo India schemes. So these are some important guidelines. So overall these are some important things that you need to remember from this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says allegation serious. Truth has to come out in snooping issue. Supreme Court says. Here this article mainly talking about Pegasus snooping issue. So this article will be important from polity point of view because now Supreme Court involved. And also this topic will be important from cyber security, which comes in a GS paper 3. So whatever the important thing regarding this Pegasus we already discussed in our earlier lectures, right? So what is this Pegasus and how it works, what about the zero-click attacks, etc., right? So now let us try to talk about what is this article talking about. So if you see context, it mainly says that Supreme Court said, or Supreme Court made it clear that truth has to come out in this Pegasus snooping issue. So even in our parliamentary session, that is monsoon session which is going on, so in that session also there is disturbance which is mainly caused by this Pegasus. Okay, so many opposition leaders, opposition party members, they are mainly going for protest. So even the protest is happening in Rajya Sabha. Recently 3 bills which passed within 1 hour, right? We already discussed that. So here in this context, Supreme Court mainly says that truth has to come out in Pegasus snooping issue. So a bench of CJI, Chief Justice of India, and Justice Suryakant, they said that this Israel-based technology used to spy, like a spyware, we can say this Pegasus, mainly used against civilians, journalists, ministers, parliamentarians, and as well as activists. Here in this context, Supreme Court said that no doubt it is a very much serious allegation because large number of cases are filed and many people they are targeted by using this Pegasus. And 2 years back the same allegations were made, but it was not that much serious 2 years back. But now no doubt this is the most serious issue. So on 10th August, a bench said it wanted government to represent in the court. So these are some important things which are mainly said in this article. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says nearly 63% of dropouts at 7 IITs from reserved categories. So this article mainly focusing on dropouts in reserved categories. So this article will be important regarding GS paper to under education, and it will be also helpful regarding reservations which comes under GS paper to under polity. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. And there is also another article which is very much related to this dropouts, that is 88% of IIT Guwahati drops out from reserved quotas. So this article it is also related to dropouts. So let us see these 2 articles in a one go. So if you are talking about context, it mainly says that nearly 63% of undergraduate dropouts at top 7 Indian Institute of Technology, that is in IITs. So there is 63% of undergraduate UG dropouts are seen at top 7 Indian Institutes of Technology over past 5 years. So from last 5 years onwards, there are nearly 63% of undergraduate dropouts. Dropouts means since simply they are leaving out of their courses. And this is the data which is given by Ministry of Education. So it is a one of authenticated data. And now let us see some important details. So if you see details, it mainly says that nearly 40% of dropouts are seen from scheduled caste and as well as scheduled tribes. Okay, so from SCs and STs, we are seeing 40% of dropouts. In some institutions, SC and ST, they will share as high as 72% of dropouts. So dropout of these allied programs disproportionately belonging to disadvantaged group. So if you see here, getting seats in this IITs and IIMs, it is a very great thing, and it is not so easy actually. So after entering into these courses, whenever there is a dropout means we can say it will disproportionately affect these disadvantaged groups. And next one is at least 6 out of 10 undergraduate dropouts at the top 7 Institute of Technology, that is Indian Institute of Technologies IITs, over past 5 years from reserved category. So if you are talking about exclusively from reserved category, so dropout mainly stands out of 10 for every 6 people they are going for dropouts, and these dropouts are seen in this reserved category exclusively in top IITs. And Dalits and Adivasi activists, they have long argued that students from these communities like scheduled castes and as well as scheduled tribes, they face higher level of pressure and discrimination. So because of this higher level of pressure and discrimination, that is leading to increase in dropouts of the students in these IITs. So what are the steps taken by government till now to prevent these dropouts? So some steps taken by government, they include fee reductions for this reserved categories. And next one is institute also providing some scholarships to the students, and priority access to national level scholarship also. And these are the some important steps to taken by government to aid, to help students with poor financial backgrounds to pursue their education. And if you are talking about second article, it is talking about IIT Guwahati. So this IIT Guwahati, which holds a worst record with 88% of its 25 dropouts hailing from reserved categories. So in this IIT Guwahati, about 88% of dropouts that is seen. So in this 88% of dropouts, we are seeing mostly 25 dropouts from reserved categories itself. And this one is in IIT Delhi, 3/4 of all dropouts, they are coming from this SC and ST community. And 10 students were recorded in 2018. And now there is 76% of dropouts from reserved category. So these are some important things which are mainly discussed in this article. And now let us try to see next topic. Center moves to redact retrospective tax law. So this article talking about retrospective tax law. Redact means simply correction. Okay, simply we are going for correction in this retrospective law. So now let us try to understand some facts regarding this retrospective law. So this law came into existence in 2012. So first of all, what is meaning of this retrospective law? So retrospective law means actually this law which come into existence in 2012. But from 2007, or we can say before this 2012, so this law will be applicable. Okay, this law will be applicable back. So this type of laws are called as retrospective law. So why we need correction? Because recently Crane Energy and as well as Vodafone, they mainly move towards court challenging this retrospective law, and finally they win, and here court said that here government need to pay so and so compensation for this Crane Energy. So because of this, here government want to correct its retrospective law of 2012. So recently government which mainly introduced bill. Okay, so because of this article is in news. And this topic will be important regarding GS paper 2 which comes under polity, and also GS paper 3 which comes under economy. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that so government took the first step towards doing away with contentious retrospective law of 2012. So government mainly want to make some corrections in this retrospective tax law of 2012. Okay, so here why we came up with this retrospective tax law? So retrospective tax law was used mainly to raise larger tax demands on foreign investors such as Crane Energy, Vodafone, etc. And now this Crane Energy and Vodafone, they blamed India's investment climate. So because of this, to correct this, Union Finance and Corporate Affairs introduced Taxation Laws Amendment Bill. Okay, so name of that bill is Taxation Law Amendment Bill in Lok Sabha. So this bill mainly focusing to rectify relevant retrospective tax clauses which introduced in year 2012, mainly to change some tax clauses. So if you're talking about provisions of this bill, it mainly says that tax demand made on transactions that took place before 2012 May shall be dropped. Okay, so here tax demand which is made before May 2012, so what are the tax demands are made, that will be dropped. Okay, that will be removed. And next one is any taxes already collected by government, then that will be repaid, but there will be no interest on that. And next one is the eligible and the concerned taxpayers would have to drop all pending cases against government. So what are the pending cases which are present against government? They need to be dropped. And next one is they need to do one more promise, that not to make any demands for damages or cost. So what are the demands they are making, whatever the damages are making, whatever the cost they incurred, so they will not make any demands for those damages and cost. So these are some important provisions of this bill. And why? Okay, why this bill introduced? So former finance minister late Pranab Mukherjee, introduced this retrospective taxation law after Supreme Court held that Vodafone could not be taxed for 2007 transaction. So because of this, government came with this retrospective law and it went for taxing this Vodafone. Okay, so this is introduction of this retrospective law. And now let us try to focus on what is this retrospective taxation. So this retrospective taxation which mainly allows country to pass a rule on taxing certain products, certain items, service, and as well as deals, and charge companies from a time behind the date on which the law is passed. Okay, so for example, if law is passed in 2012, if you are going towards the past of 2007, here whenever this law came into existence, here this law will also applicable for back or past. And why? Because countries use this route mainly to correct any anomalies or any difficulties in their taxation policies that have done in past. Okay, because whenever any loopholes which are present in this tax laws, then that can be used by companies mainly to rectify this type of retrospective tax laws can be bring up by government. Okay, but these tax laws mainly hurt companies. So this is one important thing. And next one is, apart from India, many countries like USA, UK, Netherlands, Canada, Belgium, Australia and Italy, they are also having this type of laws, not only India. So these are some important facts that you need to remember. Now let us see one interesting article, that is how the critically endangered Annamalai flying frog got a new home. So this article talking about Annamalai flying frog. So what happened? So it is a critically endangered frog. So what happened? Because of this loss of habitat, number of these frogs are decreasing. So one interesting thing which mainly said in this article here is this Annamalai flying frog, which is critically endangered frog, which got a new home. Okay, so in this way this article can be used whenever you are writing environment and ecology related answers regarding conservation of so and so species. But if you see, I want to make you one clear that, so I didn't find this article in today's newspaper in Hyderabad edition. Okay, but I got this article from Hindu app. Okay, so when I am making notes for this Hindu, so I found this article will be very much useful for environment and ecology, and I added this. But I didn't get original article in Hindu, especially Hyderabad edition. Okay, so you can make a notes of this topic. Okay, so this article mainly talking about flying frog. So if you see context, it mainly says that a critically endangered frog species. So name of that frog species is Rhacophorus pseudomalabaricus. Okay, Rhacophorus pseudomalabaricus. It is scientific name of this critically endangered frog. So it is getting a new home. So why I am saying new home? Because recently naturalist and as well as frog enthusiast, he constructed 2 ponds in Windermere Estate mainly to restore the habitat for this Annamalai flying frog. So because of this they are going to get a new home. So he is also getting some support from Wildlife Trust of India to take up some fast rapid action projects for this amphibian conservation. So if you are talking about some facts here, so this frog, which is very much endemic to southern part of Western Ghats. So here this frog can be seen in southern parts of Western Ghats, and number of frogs have been declined due to loss of habitat. Due to loss of habitat, there is decrease in number of these frogs. So habitat loss mainly seen because of this grasslands in this Munnar area. They were converted into tea plantations and some Shola forest, that is Shola forest. So Shola forest, they are mainly converted into cardamom cultivation. So because of all these things, there is decrease in the habitat, that is leading to habitat loss. So even when we are going for protection of so and so trees, in that trees we are seeing there is undergrowth. Okay, so now let us try to focus on what are these facts regarding this frog. So this frog also known as false Malabar gliding frog. So this frog also known as false Malabar gliding frog, and this species usually larger than bush frogs. So this species is larger than compared to that of bush frogs, and female they can grow up to 3 inches. Okay, female frogs grows up to 3 inches, and mating between male and female that will happens between months of June to October. And one more interesting fact I want to share here is the females creates foam nest on leaves. So if you see leaves here, so they will create a foam nest on leaves, and in this nest there will be eggs will be laid. Okay, so eggs will be laid by female, and later on male will come and male will fertilize these eggs. Okay, and outer layer of this foam that will protect eggs mainly from bacteria, some predators, and as well as weather changes. And when the eggs hatches, So nest will disintegrate and tadpoles will drop into water body. So in this way, so we can see life cycle of this frog, which mainly happens on leaf and as well as it enter into water body. So till it is entering into this water body, whatever the outer layer of foam that is present, that will give protection for this tadpoles. So this is gist of this topic. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says Defence Service Bill will lapse after a year. So this article mainly focusing on this Defence Service Bill. It is also called as the Essential Defence Service Bill of 2021. Already we studied about this bill in yesterday's lecture, that is last article. So now let us try to see what is written in this article only. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under polity. So if you see context, it mainly says that the Essential Defence Services Bill 2021 which passed in Rajya Sabha. So why it is in news? So this Essential Defence Services Bill 2021 which is passed in Rajya Sabha, it does not come into effect unless it is invoked and it is placed for only 1 year. So here there was some controversy regarding right to protest regarding this bill. Okay, now here detailed explanation which is given by our government like, so this bill will be in place for only 1 year. So now let us try to understand some details of this bill. So this bill was promulgated mainly to prevent employees unions of Ordnance Factory Board. Okay, so if we are having this Ordnance Factory Board, so in this there will be workers working. So this bill mainly seems that these workers not to form a group and to boycott against or to do protest against government. Okay, mainly regarding this Ordnance Factory Board, the employees union, they should be prevented to do strikes, okay, against corporatization plan of this Ordnance Factory Board. So what happened recently in June 16th if I am not wrong, so government said that they are going for privatization or corporatization of this Ordnance Factory Board. So because of this, workers who are present in that Ordnance Factory Board, they will go for strike obviously. So mainly to prevent employees unions of this Ordnance Factory Board to go for strike or protest, so this bill was announced and this bill passed. And here government says that this bill will be applicable only for 1 year and after this bill will lapse. So bill also did not violate International Labour Organization conventions. So it meant to ensure uninterrupted supply to services and as well as essential in these are very much essential in current situation now in this global pandemic. And if you are talking about ordnance factories, so recently government said that they are going for corporatization. So why corporatization? So whenever we are going for this corporatization, it will allow autonomy. It will also help to improve accountability and efficiency. And this corporatization mainly aimed at transforming the ordnance factories into productive, profitable assets, deepening of specialization, cost efficiency, and also enhance quality and as well as competitiveness. So these are some important things that you need to remember. And now let us see next topic. Title says Earth observation satellites to be launched. So in short, it is called as EOS. And this topic will be important regarding our GS paper 3 under science and technology. So whenever any launch which is done by ISRO or whenever any launch is done by NASA and some international space agencies, that will be the favorite topic of UPSC. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. Context says ISRO will launch EOS, Earth Observation Satellite, on August 12th. So what is context? Why it is in news? Because our ISRO will going to launch this Earth Observation Satellite on August 12th from Satish Dhawan Space Center. So because of this is in news. And if you see some details of this article, it says that so this satellite, Earth Observation Satellite 0.3, so it will be carried on board, okay, by using GSLV, okay. So by using this GSLV, not PSLV, Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. So we are using this Geo Satellite Launch Vehicle, okay. So here we are using this GSLV and it is a 14th flight of GSLV, and in this 14th flight we are launching this satellite, okay, EOS, and it will be placed in geosynchronous transfer orbit. So what is this transfer orbit first of all? So we are having low Earth orbits, medium Earth orbits, and as well as high Earth orbits. So when we want to place so and so satellite in this orbit, okay, Earth it is present here, right? So when we want to place in this orbit, first we will be placing in one orbit, and from that orbit we will be shifting to another orbit, right? So this orbit, wherever we are placing and we want to shift to another orbit, that is called as transfer orbit. So if you don't know what is the difference between this GSLV and as well as PSLV, please let me know in comment box, and in tomorrow's lecture we are going to discuss that. So what is the significance of this satellite? So this satellite is having mainly state-of-the-art satellite enabling technology, and it will be very much helpful for real-time monitoring of natural disasters, for example floods, cyclones, and even monitoring of water bodies, crops, vegetations, forest cover, etc. And this satellite is also having capability of imaging whole country 4 to 5 times every day. So this is the one important advantage we are going to have. And next, one more important thing you need to remember here is, in this year, in this 2021, due to COVID-19 protocols and guidelines, so ISRO's, this is a second launch in this country after Brazil's Earth observation satellite Amazonia 1 with 18 other co-passenger satellites. So this done by using PSLV C51. And now let us try to see other Earth observation satellites which are present in India. For example, ResourceSat, okay, 2A, Cartosat, ReSat, OceanSat, Seral, InSat. So these are some Earth observation satellites. And now let us move on to next topic. Title says no study yet on suicides tied to pandemic. Okay, so this article mainly talking about psychosocial support. So this article mainly focusing on what are the steps taken by government to provide psychosocial support for COVID-19 patients. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under health. So now let us try to understand this topic. So context says that center list steps taken to give some psychosocial support to those who hit by COVID-19. So this article mainly says that center is come up with a list, and in this list they said that what are the steps they taken to provide psychosocial support to COVID-19 patients. So if you see details, it mainly says that central government steps about some impact on their mental health according to Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs says that yes, central government took some steps mainly to provide some support regarding mental health of COVID-19 patients. And ministry said that there is no study done to assess impact of pandemic on suicides. And if you're talking about what are the steps which are taken by government, first one is 24/7 helpline number is given, and this will provide a psychological support for different target groups like children, adults, elderly, and as well as women and healthcare workers, etc. Okay, and next one is healthcare at primary healthcare level. Also, government it is taking some steps to strengthen mental healthcare services. And if you're talking about data, so according to National Crimes Record Bureau NCRB, which reported that there is increase in number of suicide cases during 2019 when compared to 2018. Okay, so because of this, here Minister of Home Affairs said that they didn't go for studying of impact of this COVID-19 on suicides. Okay, so this is gist of this topic. And now let us see next topic. So before saying next topic, I want to make a small announcement on this platform. So if you want to clear UPSC 2022, we came up with one excellent, highly beneficial and also highly economical course, that is Current Affairs Package along with mains answer writing practice. So how this course will be useful? So one important thing you need to remember here is, before entering into examination hall, you need to know 1.5 years current affairs for sure. And this is right time to join this course to cover this 1.5 years current affairs. And next one is, we are focusing on this mains answer writing practice. So why mains answer writing practice? because many students who are especially freshers or beginners, they ignore this mains answer writing practice. So because of this, even though if you are doing hard work and if you clear prelims, you cannot clear mains without answer writing skills. So in this course, we are mainly focusing on how to improve your answer writing skills. So after joining this course, you are going to practice more than 300 questions and more than 50 essays in this 1 year of duration. And next one is, we also provide you prelims practice test on every Sunday, and we provide you video explanation part. So in this way, this course which is designed as per demand of UPSC. So finally, I want to say one thing. Please don't take this course as a choice. Try to join this course as soon as possible and achieve your dream of clearing UPSC. So details of this course are given in description box. So please visit that once. And if you want to talk to me directly, you can call to this number 8074765513. Okay, now let's come back and let us see next topic, that is about India-Nepal flood management. So if you see title, it says that India-Nepal flood management needs course correction. So what happened? Why we need to focus? Okay, why India and Nepal both they need to focus on this flood management? So if you try to draw a map here, so here we have Himalayas, and here if you are talking about especially Ganga river system, so there are many tributaries they are coming. Okay, so here we have this Nepal and Tibet area. Okay, so here from this area there are number of tributaries are coming and they are joining. So because of this, mainly especially in this Bihar region, especially in this northern Bihar region, so it is highly prone to floods because of number of rivers, right? So these rivers which is having upper course from Nepal. So here Nepal need to take some action such that it will also reduce impact of flood in Nepal and also even in Bihar. So about 65% of catchment area of rivers which are flowing in this Bihar region, so this 65% of catchment is located in Nepal, and just 35% of catchment area which is located in Bihar. So here we need to go for integrated flood management system to control floods in Bihar. So now let us try to see this topic in a very great detail. So this topic will be important regarding disaster management, which comes under GS paper 3. So if you see here, now we are seeing there is increase in rainfall in Bihar that led to floods. So if you see this image, you can understand, so most of the area which is inundated in this flooded area. If you see introduction of this article, it mainly says that Nitish Kumar should be credited for bringing disaster management into proper imagination in Bihar. In early days as Bihar CM from 2005 to 2010, he made a noticeable structural changes and as well as non-structural changes. So structural changes includes he renewed approaches in infrastructure augmentation for dams and as well as reservoirs. He came up with retention basins, embankments and channel improvement. And he also took some non-structural changes like floodplain management, flood forecasting and warning, flood insurance and financial compensation. So despite of all these efforts made, people continue to suffer perennial flooding in North Bihar. So whatever the steps are taken in both structural and as well as non-structural manner, so even though now people they are suffering from this flooding in northern Bihar region especially. So if you see the present situation, due to this novel corona pandemic which almost devastated lives of people, and now there is extra rainfall and floods. So because of this extra rainfall and floods this year, about 5 crore people in North Bihar and Terai region of Nepal, they are very much vulnerable to these floods. So what is the need? Need here is policy makers need to show some attention on both the sides of border. So this year on May 4th, May 5th, so Bihar Disaster Management Department that releases 2 documents. So title of those documents includes Pre-Flood Preparedness and Flood Control Order 2021. So what are the aim of these documents? The important aim, it is to help local administration in terms of preparedness and also having in place a relief support system for the people who are mainly seen in this situation. So what is the solution for this problem? Solution for this problem is we need to revisit old plans and arrangements which are done between India and Nepal. So if you're talking about data regarding floods in Bihar, Bihar has been known to be India's most flood prone state. And according to Flood Management Improvement Support Center, so this center estimates that 76% of population in northern Bihar, they face recurring threat from flood devastation. So if you're talking about this North Bihar, adjoining Nepal is drained by a number of rivers and that have these catchments in steep and geologically nascent Himalayas. Okay, so in this northern Bihar region, there are number of rivers which are mainly flowing, and if you see here, the catchments are very much steep here. So whatever the rivers which are flowing here, they originating in Nepal. Okay, and they will carry high discharge and as well as sediment load. For example, river Kosi, river Gandak, river Burhi Gandak, river Bagmati, river Mahananda, etc. So out of these rivers, 65% of this catchment are seen in Nepal and just 35% of catchment that is seen in Bihar. So these are the rivers which are causing havoc of Nepal terrain and as well as floods in northern Bihar. So recent review by Kale, it mainly says that the plains of Bihar recorded the highest number of floods during last 30 years. And if you're talking about history of cooperation between India and Nepal, it started in 1950s. And in 1950s, they started work on Kosi embankments, and this work started in year 1955. In this 1955, Nepali soldiers, they come forward voluntarily to join hands with Indian volunteers, and as well as they started work, and there was water cooperation between India and Nepal. But what happened at that time, that reduced some amount of impact of floods. And later on we came up with the Kosi Treaty of 1954. So in this Kosi Treaty of 1954, embankments in Nepal, they were established and maintained. Okay, and because of this also it not make much enough provisions for maintenance of these embankments, and rivers are changing their course. So if you are talking about rivers are changing course because of deposition of stones, sand, silt, etc., that is increasing or raising river beds. Okay, so that is leading to changing of course. To understand this changing of course, I will draw a diagram here. So for example, let us take river which is moving in this direction. Okay, so river which is moving in this way. Suddenly what happened, as you know, in rivers water will be moving with a high speed. So because of this, they will have ability to bring sediments. So whenever they are bringing sediments and they are depositing, what happened? So whenever they are depositing, so if you see, the depth will be like this first. But because of sediments they are depositing here, so whatever the depth will be decreased. So because of this overflowing that is seen here. So for example, if there is entirely sediments which are brought by river, and whenever they are deposited like this, so here river will move in another direction. Okay, so in this way we can see course of the river will be changed. So whenever course of river will be changed, already the houses which are present or already the attachments which are present here, that will see inundation. Okay, so whatever the steps which are taken by India and Nepal during this Kosi Treaty of 1954, so it does not bring enough outcomes because of changing of course of their rivers. For example, increase in river bed and as well as changing course, etc. So because of this, that led to unimaginable losses in the people who are living in that area. And if you're talking about a river course changing, river Kosi has shifted over 100 kilometers westwards, and that led to large scale of human displacements. So if you see what is the need here is we need greater sensitization on climate imbalances, and we need to go for sustainable development projects, and we need to come together and we need to focus on this flood management systems by both India and Nepal, such that we can control floods. Okay, so this is the gist of this topic. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture. By this we are concluding today. Thank you so much, and please subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos. And don't forget to enroll to this current affairs package. Thank you.